Welcome back to the AM Edit podcast. If this is your first time with us, this is a space for intentional thinking, clean energy, and realignment. We don't rush, we don't hype, we edit consciously. Every week we bring you a mindset edit, a single shift that recalibrates how you see, move, and rebuild. Today's episode is for the moments that don't always get named, the in-between seasons, the quiet closures, the subtle transitions where something ends, but no one's throwing you a going away party. You're still showing up, still working, still responding to texts, but something's shifted, and maybe you haven't fully processed what you're actually moving on from. That's what this episode is for. When the story you thought you were in gets rewritten, quietly, painfully, or permanently, how do you start writing a new one? This isn't just about relationships. It's about identity, momentum, worth, and about choosing, deliberately, not to abandon yourself just because something else fell away. So wherever you are, in your car, on a walk, at the gym, making coffee, take a breath. This is your moment. Let's drop in. Let's begin the edit. Let's start with something simple, something honest. Moving on doesn't always come with closure. It doesn't always happen in a dramatic conversation or clean goodbye. Sometimes the story just changes. Maybe you don't even realize it at first. Maybe it starts as distance, a shift in tone, a rhythm you used to rely on, now offbeat. No big fight, no final words, just space. And in that space, something dissolves. A version of the future you'd been silently rehearsing? Gone. A shared morning routine, a name in your notifications, a text you used to expect at 8:17 a.m. All of it, now, still. And here's what people don't always say out loud. That loss? It's not just emotional, it's existential. You're not just losing someone. You're losing the version of yourself who lived in that chapter. The way you spoke, the way you planned. The small things you didn't even realize were shared. It's identity-level disruption, which is why you can feel so out of sync, even if you're still doing all the things. Showing up to work, going to the gym, smiling at brunch. But internally, it's like someone rearranged all the furniture in your mind, and now you're trying to live in a house that doesn't feel quite like yours anymore. So let's name it clearly. You are not broken. You are rebuilding. You are not lost. You are in between. And that in between is sacred. It's where you stop performing what was and begin practicing what could be, even if you don't know what that is yet. That's what this moment is, not a collapse, a clearing. Let's pause for a redefinition, because the way we talk about moving on in culture is often shallow, rushed, or reactive. We treat it like a performance. Post the glow up. Show how unbothered you are. Prove you're over it before you've even felt it. But here's the truth that doesn't get enough airtime. Moving on isn't a moment. It's a series of quiet decisions, none of which need to be dramatic or visible. Moving on can look like crying after a great day, because your body is still catching up to your mind. It can look like re-downloading a dating app, then deleting it again because you realized you're not quite there yet. It can look like cooking dinner for one and making it beautiful anyway. This is the part no one claps for. This is the part where you learn that moving on isn't about speed. It's about sovereignty. It's not, I don't care anymore. It's, I care about me enough not to keep choosing what doesn't choose me back. It's not, I'm over it. It's, I understand it, I've honored it, and I'm releasing it. That's the real shift. And it changes how you show up next time. Not harder, not colder, but clearer, more self-aware, less likely to negotiate your value just to keep someone close. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need a new storyline to replace the old one. You just need a clean inner compass, one that says, I know who I am, I know what I deserve, and I'm no longer confusing comfort with alignment. Let that be your definition of moving on. Private, personal, powerful, and built on your terms. Now that we've named the loss, now that we've reclaimed some of what's yours, and now that we've redefined what moving on actually looks like, let's bring it into practice. Let's make it real. This is your awareness edit, because clarity isn't passive. It's built through reflection, through pause, through choosing to sit in the silence long enough to hear your own voice again. So here are your questions for today. Prompt 1. What part of me did I silence in that chapter? Sometimes, in order to keep the peace, to stay close, to be chosen, we shrink. We downplay what we need. We soften what we believe. We compromise even when the cost is clarity. So ask yourself, what did I put on mute? It might be your boundaries, your ambition, your sense of play, your standards, or even the way you laugh when no one's trying to make you small. Write that part down. That version of you isn't gone. She's just waiting for permission to come home. Prompt 2. What would self-honoring look like this week? This isn't about revenge routines or making someone wish they hadn't let you go. This is about choosing things that nourish you on a cellular level. Is it moving your body differently? Is it blocking an hour just to be alone and journal? Is it saying no to that thing you always say yes to out of guilt? Start small. One act of self-trust today. Stack that for a week and you're rebuilding your identity from the inside out. Prompt 3. What does moving on look like for me? Not for the feed, not for the world, but for me. Because the world has opinions. There's pressure to look okay, to move fast, to glow up like nothing ever happened. But your timeline is yours. Your healing, yours. Your next chapter, yours. You get to decide what kind of life you walk into next. And you don't need applause to do it well. So take a moment. After this episode, find a quiet corner. Write. Breathe. Let it come out raw and let it come out real. Because this is how you rebuild, with awareness, not avoidance. One answer at a time. One boundary at a time. One version of your future that starts to make sense again. Not because someone else is in it, but because you finally are. Let's land here, with the truth that too often goes unsaid. You are not behind. Not because something ended. Not because you're healing slowly. Not because the timeline you imagined didn't unfold the way you hoped. We live in a culture that measures progress in speed, status, or someone new showing up in your feed. But real progress? It's internal. It's invisible at first. It's measured in self-respect, in emotional clarity, in the boundaries you now hold with softness and strength. You are not broken because someone couldn't stay. You are not less because something you gave your heart to didn't go the distance. This isn't failure. It's refinement. It's a moment of return, of reordering, of recentering. You are not waiting to be chosen. You're learning to choose yourself, not in a loud, defiant, performative way, but in the way you pour your coffee in the morning and sit still for a moment before the world asks anything of you, in the way you say no without apology. in the way you remember that your peace is not up for negotiation. So if it feels slow, good. That means it's real. If it feels quiet, good. That means it's yours. And if it still hurts sometimes, good. That means you're honest enough to feel what's true instead of rushing toward what's next just to silence what's real. This chapter you're in, it isn't an intermission. It's the foundation for everything that comes next. So build with care. Build with intention. Build with the version of you that no longer performs for proximity or overextends for belonging. You are enough, exactly as you are. That's today's mindset edit. If you're still with me, take a breath. Let it land. This episode wasn't about rushing through pain or turning heartbreak into hustle. It was about honoring the in-between. The part where you're not who you were, but not yet who you're becoming. The part that's often skipped in highlight reels, but sacred in real life. Moving on is rarely clean, but it's always clarifying. It shows you what you valued. It shows you where you compromised. And eventually, if you listen long enough, it shows you where you're ready to rise. So if you're rebuilding right now, I want you to hear this again. You're not late. You're not lost. You're not less. You're just in the quiet middle, the part where real foundations are poured. If this episode gave you language you didn't know you needed, if it helped you feel seen in the middle of a transition no one else quite understands, share it. Send it to the one friend who's going through their own quiet unraveling. Let them know they're not alone in the rebuild. This is what AM Edit is about. We don't bypass the real. We build from it with clarity, honesty, and grounded momentum. Until next time, think clearly, move intentionally, and keep choosing yourself quietly, completely, again and again. I'm Kristen, and Elle will see you next week. Bye.